In this video, I'm going to talk through what inspired me to start flying drones and grow my YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers in 12 months. I'll share with you 10 things I learnt along the way that might help you get there faster. What are the things I'm most proud of? And what lessons have I learnt? Stick around to the end to see the fortune I earned after being monetized for 2 whole weeks. And for those of you already well into the journey or have surpassed it, I'm sure you'll be able to empathize with some of the pain and pleasure points that I've experienced. Sounds a bit kinky, it's not meant to. So yes, there is some drone-centric stuff here, but equally many of these experiences and lessons learnt can be applied to just about any YouTube channel out there. So grab a coffee, stick around and let's get on with it. Now I've got to say up front, I am by no means an expert at this stuff. My YouTube channel is only really a year old, and I'm still very early on in my YouTube journey, so I'm definitely not a Nate Black or Ed from Creator Booth. Both brilliant channels, by the way. I mean, they make videos on YouTube about how to grow YouTube channels, which is rather meta. But I'm sure there are some things here that will help you out, and if you stick around, you're likely to get some tips that will get you to that magic 1,000 far quicker than I did. But before we do that, let's go back to March 2023. Have you ever fallen asleep with the TV on and then woken up all bleary-eyed and confused at 3 AM watching some shopping channel playing selling you the latest kitchen gadget that promises to revolutionise your life? It slices, dices, bakes, cleans the car, washes the cat, all in one convenient package. So call now and for the low price of £17 you can get this. Call quickly while stocks last. Kitchen Hoojamaa Flip is not associated with the Guardian Hoojamaa Flip, and no claims to this advert are true. Cats can go down as well as up. Your home is at risk if you set fire to it. I woke up to find myself watching one of those infomercials for a drone at a bargain price. It had image stabilisation, 720p HD picture, and obstacle avoidance. Now, I love technology, really like stuff that flies, and have a basic knowledge of photography. You know, the old chemicals and darkroom sort of stuff. So I was intrigued and I carried on watching. The following day I started down that YouTube and Google rabbit hole, voraciously consuming information about drones and UAVs. Now it turns out that the drone on the shopping channel, albeit cheap, was, well, landfill. From my research I found that DJI had pedigree in this area. They aren't cheap, but I do believe in the old adage, buy cheap, buy twice. I also thought that investing so much in a hobby would probably force me to get me out of the house and prevent me from procrastination. We'll come back to that in a bit. I was attracted to the DJI Mini 3, but decided to spend a little extra on the Mini 3 Pro because of its upgraded specs and especially because it had better obstacle avoidance, and given that I'd never flown a drone before, I thought that was probably worth it. I headed down to my local Argos, the equivalent of Best Buy in the US, and bought the Mini 3 Pro with the Fly More package, and couldn't wait to use it. A week later, when it wasn't raining. Whilst I was waiting for the weather to get better, a thought popped into my head. Do I need a license for this? I'd not come across anything in the YouTube videos I'd watched, but I had a sneaking suspicion I might. I quickly Googled it and realised that it had to be registered with the CAA, and along the way learnt about all the basic rules and regulations that come with flying a drone. And for good measure, besides getting an operator ID, I took and passed the CAA test to obtain a flyer ID. Now this isn't strictly necessary with a sub 250 gram drone, but it was free and I thought that it would help with my confidence when I finally got out there to fly. I really was starting to think though, this is a bit more complicated than just chucking a drone up in the sky and flying it for miles. The bloke on the infomercial didn't say anything about this either. I headed out on my first flight on a chilly April evening. It was fun and nerve-wracking, and at one point I thought I'd lost sight of the drone and panicked, because of course this is a big no-no, at least in the UK. But I was able to regain sight of it, and by some absolute miracle, nobody died. Well, at least not from me losing sight of my drone. The car journey home doesn't count. I headed home, ready to watch the footage. On my iPhone. How about the iPad? It was still a bit small. I've got a massive TV. I bet it'll look brilliant on that. Okay, a bit of a diversion here, but we will get back on track in a minute. Now, back in pre-pandemic times, I set up a YouTube channel just to save short clips of gaming that I did on my PlayStation, really just to share with the friends that I played with online. Now, my PSN name is Amok Type.
Why?
Named after an early episode of Star Trek that first aired in the 1960s.
I'd hope that would be spiritless.
And I played a lot of a space simulator MMO called Elite Dangerous, especially during the pandemic.
I was watching that, Rich.
Did you see that?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to record that.
So I got used to being referred to as Amok, or by the Americans, Amok. Amok time. Flying around in a spaceship. You can probably work out the rest for yourself. A weird coincidence, or possibly foreshadowing? You decide. But technically, the channel has been in existence since 2018. The name seemed to fit, so why change it?
Enough talk, let's get on with it.
Right. Okay, no more Star Trek clips.
Aww.
I promise. I got myself a cheap, rudimentary editing package that would actually run on my ropey old laptop. I did a bit of editing, added some text for the kids, and uploaded it. I shared it with the family and friends and got, well, a kind, but ultimately slightly lukewarm reaction. Then something weird happened. I had a comment from someone I didn't know, which was weird because I seriously wasn't really expecting anyone else to watch it. That's nice. Someone's watched my video, I thought. I went out most weekends and shot some video and stuck it up on my channel. Just trying to improve my flying and filming with every video. I was enjoying it immensely. Getting out, getting some exercise, which I really needed. Honing my flight skills, with a few crashes. Improving my filming and gradually learning the art of editing along the way. I got some nice, kind comments and the odd subscriber. But then there was one thing that was starting to niggle me. And it had been hinted at in that very first comment. I had the need to explain what I was doing in my videos. My videos were okay, but they felt to me at least a bit samey. Probably just because of my lack of imagination, to be honest. I started to pepper the videos with some text. Some of it specifically to do with the subject, and some of it just completely irrelevant, and some of it just flippant and silly. And then I did this on my phone. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I just thought I'd actually start putting some introductions at the beginning of my films, because otherwise it's all a bit dry and just a bit samey. It was just an experiment, but I rather enjoyed it and it added another dimension to the production of the video. And it was just, well, it was fun. Now, I wouldn't say I'm a natural performer. I did my fair share of plays and pantomimes with an Amdram group in the 90s.
Oh, no, you didn't.
But anyway, this started to feel a bit like, well, I couldn't go back. So I did another video with some talking. It was waiting for a signal to come back. And another. Fly above the cloud. And another. There we go. And I found that I was starting to gain subscribers. Complete strangers that seemed to like what I was doing. At the time, I was at quite a low point in my life and feeling very much unappreciated. So this genuine feedback and, well, attention really helped improve my emotional state and my self-confidence and, dare I say it, my mental health. I started delving into YouTube optimization. I signed up with vidIQ and doing deep dives into how to produce YouTube videos properly. Yes, I know, not all of it sank in, but enough for me to notice a few things I'd been doing wrong and to get some tips on things that I hadn't just considered before. I learnt about the importance of thumbnails, video titles, hooks, loops, SEO. This was on top of everything I was learning about operating drones and the regulations, about editing sound and lighting. Oh, and if you're interested in any of the channels that I've learnt a lot of this stuff from, Pop along to the Amok Time Flies channel page. There are links to all of my favourite drone, video production and YouTube channels that all have some great advice and tips. While you're there, of course, you might as well just click on the subscribe button, especially if you're awesome. So, what was meant to be just a little hobby to get me out of the house was growing into a monster. A monster that had turned out to have very sharp teeth. I'm kidding. I'm just saying that for dramatic effect. It wasn't that bad. The next few months became quite expensive though. I bought the Air 3 and then the Mini 4 Pro, all tested. Well, I was getting frustrated with my clunky old laptop, so I upgraded that. Absolutely kick-bottom laptop, so that editing would be easier. I experimented with phone gimbals, the DJI Osmo 6 gimbal, the Insta360 Flow, and microphones, the Full-Aim X5 wireless microphone, the DJI mic set, eventually getting fed up with awkwardly filming stuff on my phone and buying the absolutely awesome DJI Pocket 3 with the creator kit. I was almost at 500 subscribers, so I stuck a CTA, or call to action, in my light cut video. It would be brilliant if some of you could just hit that subscribe button as well as the like button and the notifications. That would really help me out, but it would also get this video out to a lot of other viewers that might need to see it. And it had just the right effect. Some absolute stars helped propel me to 500 subscribers, and with the 3,000 watch hours that I'd already accrued, I was ready for the first tier of the YouTube Partner Programme. To date, it's still my highest subscriber count video, which is brilliant. And those that responded to me basically begging for subscribers are wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you all. Now this meant I could enable a handful of the monetization stuff. Super chat, super thanks, memberships, that sort of thing. But to be honest, I wasn't that interested in those things. It was more about just hitting the goal of 500 subs, really. But that great performance can come at a cost. Not financially, but emotionally. I thought I might be on a roll. I'm starting to go viral. I thought this could be the start of something big. And my next video bombed, gaining just a handful of subscribers. I started to think, was it just luck? Was it just a fluke? Well, I carried on. My new laptop was able to easily cope with running the free version of Davinci Resolve, but I was frustrated with some of its limitations. For example, if I wanted to use 10-bit footage, I had to transcribe it first in a separate program, which was free but just took ages, negating the point of having a fast laptop in the first place. There was also the FOMO of not being able to have Davinci's full capabilities.
Shiny. I'm shiny.
The studio version didn't have the 10-bit limitation. So when I found the Blackmagic Speed Editor on sale at a decent price, I bought it, because it comes with the full Davinci Resolve Studio license. Did I really need all this stuff? Well, no. Well, except for possibly the drones, of course. But I was getting to the point where this wasn't just a mere hobby. This is what I did with all the time outside work. If I wasn't making videos, I was thinking about making videos and making lists of ideas, or checking my YouTube stats, or watching videos about making videos. Anyway, to cut what seems to be getting to be rather a long story short, thanks for sticking with it, by the way, a couple of bits of lighting later, and some real pushes for subscribers, and 1 year and 2 days after my first video, I hit 1,000 subscribers. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for that. It was the best day of my life. Well, obviously I've got 2 kids, so they're... Here's a tip for you. Switch your watch off when you're making a video. I've got 2 kids, and those, of course, were the best days of my life. You have to say that, don't you? So, what have I learned from all of this? YouTube is one of the best playgrounds in the world. Everyone has a voice and can express themselves any way they want. Whether it's a relaxing cinematic drone video, or information that you want to share and think people will find helpful, or even frantic challenge videos. You can do what you want. within certain guidelines, obviously. There's an audience out there for you no matter how rubbish you are. So I didn't think that my videos were any good, but it's very flattering to find that there are over 1,000 people out there that seem to like what I do. Or at least allowed me to persuade them to press that subscribe button. Let's not talk about the subliminal call to action. Please subscribe. You can do it with very little experience or expensive equipment. As your channel grows, you will learn what works and what doesn't. Although if you're anything like me, you'll probably acquire more equipment as you go along. There are plenty of successful YouTubers out there that use little more than a phone. It's the subject matter and the delivery that counts. Which brings me on to my next point. One of my earlier waffly videos strayed very slightly out of my niche for flying drones. I did a video about the DJI Mini 2, and to date it's one of my lowest performing videos. Was it a bad video? I don't think so. It was just a departure from what the YouTube algorithm was expecting, so was serving my content up to people that like stuff about drones, not microphones, and consequently the engagement rate was poor. Now this isn't to say that you shouldn't diversify from your subject, but you probably need a larger audience before you start doing that. My channel was so strongly drone-centric that it just confused the algorithm when I went off topic. If you do have another niche you want to explore, start another channel. It's free after all. For example, I'm thinking of starting a cooking channel. Amok Time Pies. And also a channel about gracefully easing into middle age and the physical changes that happen. Amok Time Piles. Now, unless you're blessed with some innate social engineering talent, getting to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours takes a lot of time, research and effort. You need to be committed to it, even in those times when you're just not feeling it. Don't worry, it's not just you. Many YouTubers suffer from a bit of burnout from time to time. Believe me, there have been plenty of times that I've looked out the window and said to myself, yeah, it's a bit too windy, not today. But guess what? On those days, I really push myself, and I get an immense sense of satisfaction from it. The number of times I've had that Shia LaBeouf gif just playing in my head is unreal. Just get off your bottom and do it, don't overthink it. Say that to yourself, it works. If you've got a drone, just go out there and get some great footage. Even if you don't have a plan, you'll at the very least get some cracking B-roll for your next video. There's a wealth of information out there about drones, video production, sound engineering, editing, and the psychology of YouTube. So as long as you're prepared to learn and just get better with each video, you can start from a relatively low base. We've got an excellent learning platform right here in YouTube, filled with fantastic content from real people with real experience. Use it, bathe in it, it's all free. If you just improve 1% with every video, that has a cumulative effect. Just have a dip into a few of my videos from the past year, and you may be able to spot that there's something new I try to master in each one. Whether it's an editing technique, sound mixing, or just shoving a bunch of clips in from Star Trek. Every day is a school day. Now I've already touched on sound, but it's worth mentioning that good sound production is key. You can have some ropey 720p video, but if the sound is great, this more than makes up for it. If people can't hear what you're saying, or it's difficult to understand, they will likely click off quite quickly. Click off. And I'm out here to test out the Mini 4 Pro. New drone I just got today, it's brand new out of the box. Okay, so that vid has had the most views out of any of my content, but you get what I mean. This is a biggie. Be prepared to get things wrong, but move on. Not every video is going to be a banger, and it's very easy with the success of one video to think you've caught that lightning in a bottle, only to have the next video die on its arse. Pick yourself up, look at that latest video objectively and try to work out why it didn't work. There will be a reason, whether it's the thumbnail, the title, the content, or even the time of day that you released it. Now, whilst I was writing the script for this, Ted Nemeth, legend, released a 5-minute video about, guess what? Making a successful drone YouTube channel. It was a little sort of funny skit type thing, but at the time I hadn't watched it and I just thought, oh, he's stolen half my ideas. This video would have been way funnier, but it's just too soon. But think about it. When was the last time you looked something up on YouTube, just watched one video and moved on? This is certainly rare. Our natural behaviour is to seek more than one opinion, so we'll watch several different videos on the same subject. So just because someone else has made a video on how to use ND filters or what's the best app to edit video on, doesn't mean you can't do it yourself. As long as you do it in your own style and don't just completely plagiarise what another creator has done. That's what's good about YouTube. Everybody has a voice and people will find useful content in just about every video. I saw a video recently of a guy that used to be successful on YouTube and was resurrecting his channel. His advice was not to get everyone that you personally know to subscribe and watch your videos unless they are truly interested in the subject. He gave the example of his granny getting all of her friends to subscribe to his channel. But you know what? That just confuses the algorithm. YouTube uses the viewing habits of people watching your videos and takes that data to recommend other videos to people with similar viewing habits. So you can imagine that Doris and her friends in the knitting club are really going to screw that up. Why the hell does YouTube think I want to watch a video about crocheting hats for budgies? So although it's all I talk about on our lunch break, the one thing I've learned not to do is badger my colleagues to subscribe to my channel. If they're truly interested in what I'm doing, they'll take a look. But for now, I'll just continue to bore them with YouTube geekery and statistics. Sorry guys. Oh, and the final lesson. Don't do it for the money. Do it because you have a passion for the subject. I'm now in the enviable position of being able to see how much being at the start of monetization brings in. And just a message from my boss, don't worry Steve, I won't be giving up the day job anytime soon, although I might be able to treat myself to a meal deal from Morrison's once in a while. Now for all of you early subscribers, don't worry, I won't go mad. All the money I make from ad revenue will go straight back into the channel. Although based on the cost of the drones, the laptop, the cameras, the microphones, the lighting and all the other crap I've bought, I'll probably be reviewing the latest Zimmer frame and adult diapers before it's paid for itself. So what am I going to do next? I'll be honest, I'm knackered. Over the past year I've had 3 drone crashes, I've gained the A2 C of C qualification, there have been incredibly late nights editing, I've agonised over what I'm going to make my next video about, I've worried about videos that have bombed even though I poured my heart and soul into them, and I've been gripped by procrastination like you wouldn't believe. And I've probably spent more on drones and tech than is really reasonable. So, will I give up? No, it's not one of those videos. I started out just wanting to watch what I'd filmed with my drone on my big telly. And I've ended up a member of a community of wonderful, supportive people. And that's really what keeps me going. And I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. For now, at least. So thank you so much to all of you that have subscribed so far. And yes, if you haven't subscribed, then a sub would be great. But hey, you do you. If you want to see how the channel's evolved in its first 12 months, then please have a butcher's at this playlist. Fly safe, fly happy, and I'll see you soon.